Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today I'm going to be doing a little get ready with me and like a little bit of a story time about a couple of things that have been happening with my apartment, the fire alarm story that I mentioned in a previous video, and also a story about the heat in my apartment and just all of the crazy things that have been happening since my apartment got new owners because they're driving me crazy slowly. Not really slowly, pretty quickly, because they've only been the new owners for a little while. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. So the first thing I'm going to be putting on is my Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. Wow, that looks awful on camera. Once it's all blended, it looks like my actual skin tone though. My face is just really red right now. Anyway, so I filmed the video like weeks ago about what I got for Christmas. And in that video, the fire alarm went off, like I said, which I'll actually put a little clip of what happened right here, just in case you didn't watch that video. Otherwise, it's going to be really confusing, this entire video. Meredith got me this one. She got me two from Bath & Body Works. Oh boy. Anyway, so I was in the middle of filming that video, and all of a sudden, this foundation is old and crusty. All of a sudden, the fire alarm goes off, which honestly is not that rare in this apartment because people set it off all the time because they leave stuff in their toaster for too long or whatever. But this time, I don't know, it just caught me really off guard, I guess, because I wasn't really looking for it. Like, not that I'm ever looking for it or prepared for it, but I was like really deeply paying attention to what I was doing. So it really surprised me when it happened. So, obviously I stopped filming because it wasn't like, if I hear someone's smoke alarm going off next door or whatever, I'm not going to be that worried about it. But, it was the full-on fire alarm. So I stopped filming and I grabbed Zoe to go outside because I'm not going to leave her in here. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and use my NARS concealer, but this is like almost completely empty, so I'm not sure how successful it's going to be. If it's not successful, then I'm going to use some of the Kat Von D, which I don't really like, but I need something. So I take Zoe and I go towards where the stairs are. So we have like 2 sets of stairs and an elevator in my building. We have stairs that are right next to the elevator, and then there's other stairs at the other end of the hallway that don't go like directly out the front, they go out the back. So they're kind of like, I think they're meant for like if you're bringing furniture in or like something bulky and big and you need a bigger staircase, that's the one you take. Because the one that's by the elevator is really small. So anyway, I went over there and I went down the stairs because you're not supposed to take the elevator if the fire alarm's going off, and I'm a rule follower. So I start going down the stairs. There's like 1 person in front of me and like 3 people behind me, which honestly is weird because usually when the fire alarm goes off, nobody comes out of their apartments. They just like ignore it, which is like super not safe, and I would never do that. So, but like I said, I'm a rule follower. Not everyone is. But like, I'm not gonna die because I chose to ignore a fire alarm. Thank you very much. I'm going down the stairs and we get down, I live on the 3rd floor. We get down to the 2nd floor and the guy in front of me opens the door. Zoe is like in my arms because when I went to go and leave, I look crazy. When I went to leave the apartment, she would not walk because the alarm was so loud and she gets really nervous. So I'm carrying Zoe down these stairs and the guy in front of me goes to open the door and to the 2nd floor, and there's smoke. Not like big black bellowy smoke like there was like a massive fire or anything like that, but smoke, like not normal. So we turn around because you're not supposed to walk into a smoky hallway naturally, but like this is my first time ever experiencing that. I have never been in a building that's had any kind of smoke. I've never walked somewhere and had smoke. So I'm like, crap, what if this is like an actual fire or like turns into an actual fire? Because like, I'm not stupid. I didn't think that the building was going to burn down over some like light white smoke in the hallway. It could have just easily been that someone overcooked something or whatever. But I was like, what if this actually turns into a fire? Like, my cats are upstairs, all my stuff is upstairs. Like, obviously, you know, you're happy to not be injured in the fire, but still. Anyway, I'm starting to get actually stressed because it's clearly not a nothing fire alarm. So we go back upstairs, and some people decide to wait for the elevator, which I thought was kind of dumb because the elevator would go directly past where the smoke was, but whatever. And we go to the other stairwell, and we start going down. I'm still holding Zoe, so I'm not exactly going fast. So I decided to put her down, and hopefully she'll walk down the stairs because the alarm actually was not directly in that stairwell, so it wasn't as loud. Ow. Just stabbed myself in the eye. So I start walking and whatever. This woman is in front of me going down like 3 flights of stairs who literally could not have been slower. She was like not really old, but she was like middle-aged and definitely on the heavier side, and it just seemed like she almost had like arthritis or like diabetes, and everything was swollen and painful, and she just like couldn't really move very fast. And I was like stressed out because I did not know like what was really going on. So I was afraid that if something happened, I'm like gonna be stuck behind this woman, but I also didn't want to just like leave her behind. So I continued walking behind her with Zoe, and we got downstairs, and she didn't really speak much English. A lot of the people that live in my building are Hispanic and don't speak that much English. So she was like trying to ask me where to go, basically. And I know like a decent amount of Spanish, so I could understand what she was saying. I understand pretty much everything, but I have a hard time speaking. So I basically was talking back to her in English, but she definitely could understand me also. And I was showing her where to go, whatever. So we go out the stairwell that goes to the back of the building. And Zoe, of course, is freaking out and immediately has to go to the bathroom because she just didn't know what, she was beside herself. So the next thing I'm going to do is my eyes. The first thing I'm going to do is just use I think this is a blending brush. I don't really know all the terminology, but anyway, I just use a white shade from the Smoked by Urban Decay. I think it's Smoked. Yeah. By Urban Decay palette. I use the Kinky shade. This is a disgusting palette. It's like Meredith's really old. The chain on my door keeps jingling and it's freaking me out. Anyway, so I'm just using this to set my concealer that I put on my eyes. I used to have an eye primer and then I used it all, and I have yet to get another one, so it is what it is. Anyway, so that's literally the only thing I use this palette for. It's just Meredith's old palette that she gave me, and the other palettes I have don't have like a really white shade to just set my stuff with, so that's what I use that for. The next thing I'm gonna do is just put the shade Naked from like the original, this is like 100 years old also, Naked palette, just like regular old Naked. You can tell this is old because you can see the bottom of the pan, but anyway, I'm just gonna put that in my crease as my blending shade. I feel like a poser even explaining what I'm doing because I'm so not a makeup person. Like, I love makeup, I love wearing makeup, I love seeing other people's makeup, but literally it is only because I'm dating Meredith that I know how to do this. I used to do my makeup really stupid, and she showed me the error of my ways, and now I am much better at it, but like I literally can only do one look, which is this look. And I can do like a more toned down version of this look, which is basically like you're not wearing makeup, but you are. So I'm by no means an expert, so I feel like ridiculous even explaining what I'm doing, but like just in case somebody likes my makeup and wants to do it, I didn't want to like not explain it. Anyway, so I take Zoe outside. She goes to the bathroom, and we're in the back of the building. And now the way that my building is, there's like a really narrow alleyway between my building and the building next to us, and that's where like our trash goes and whatever. So we have to walk through the alleyway to get out front. The next thing I'm going to do is use the same like original Naked palette, and I'm using the shade Buck, which I just put in my outer corner for like the darker corner part. I am walking through this alleyway, and as I'm walking, I notice it's been like 10 minutes and there's no fire truck there yet. So I am like thinking to myself, oh, the fire department probably thinks nothing's going on because every time the fire alarm goes off here, it's nothing dramatic. So I decide that I'm going to call 911 because that's what you're supposed to do. And like I said, I'm a rule follower and a procedure follower. And I thought, you know, if something serious is going on, I don't want to be the reason that they're not here, or at least a contributing factor to why they're not here. Next, I'm going to take the Makeup Forever. I don't know if this is a specific palette, if it has a specific name. Anyway, it's a Makeup Forever palette. Meredith is going to judge me so hard for this video, but... Oh, and there's no names on these. Oh, they're on the back. So I guess I'm using the ME512 for the lighter shimmer and ME644 for the darker, which would be these two that I'm going to use for my, like, shimmer. I put shimmer on the lid. So I just kind of pat this into the inner corner and, like, out towards the center of my eye, on my lid only. And then I take the darker one and do it just, like, in the center to blend it into the darkest part of my shadow. I often end up getting shimmer in my crease anyway, but because my eyes, the way my lids are, you like can't really tell when my eyes are open, so it doesn't really matter. Because I know you're not supposed to put shimmer in your crease, but it kind of always happens. So as I'm walking out front, I call 911 and I'm explaining to them like where I am, and I'm saying to them like, I don't know if somebody already called, but the fire alarm's going off and there's smoke on the second floor, and you know, they need to get here. And he's like, okay, let me transfer you to the fire department. So I explain it to them and they're like, oh yeah, somebody's on the way. And as they were explaining that, the fire truck pulled up. And now, because I live in like a big city, every time you call the fire department for anything, which I've called a few times for like gas and stuff in the hallway, like smelling gas, every time you call, they send like literally 5 or 6 fire trucks, so it's like super dramatic. And so they start pulling up, they all go inside, and this was the first time I've ever actually seen them do this. They got out and like went over to the what's it called, fire hydrant, and like got it set up in case they needed it. I guess maybe because I called and said there was smoke. And other times it's not that. They just respond to the fire alarm. So anyway, they go inside and they were in there for like maybe 10 minutes. And they ended up coming out and they all left. So I guess it wasn't anything that dramatic. And when I went back inside after, I waited like another 5 minutes after they left just to make sure that like nothing dramatic was going on. It also took them a long time for all the cars to leave, or all the trucks to leave. So I waited outside with Zoe, who was beside herself the entire time. She was literally like on vibrate because she was so scared. She gets really nervous and she shakes. So I was sitting on the bench, and actually one of our neighbors came over and started talking to us. And I'm like trying to watch what's going on, trying to keep the dog calm. And he's sitting there like having this whole conversation with me about how his heat's never on. And I'm like, I don't really care, but okay. Anyway, so they came out and they left, and that was the end of it. So I came back inside and I checked on the second floor and the smoke was gone. So they didn't actually tell us what happened, but I'm guessing that basically somebody overcooked something or something like that. And it probably made like enough smoke that it went out of their apartment into the hallway, but it wasn't like an actual fire, thankfully. So I went upstairs and you know, the rest of my day was fine, but I just felt very like shaken after that, because that's the closest I've ever come to like actually having something like really dramatic happen like that. Like I've never been involved in like, you know, a house that was on fire or anything like that. I've never been around that. I've never even like really seen like a real fire. So it was very nerve-wracking. So the last thing that I did was just blend out the edges of my shadow, which actually that might need it a little more. But the next thing I'm going to do is my eyeliner. And I actually have another story about my apartment, because this apartment's very weird. Like a lot of things happen here that are just like odd. So I have another story that just happened today. It's more of like a complaint and an annoyance than like a dramatic story. It's not quite as dramatic as the fire alarm one. Anyway, so I have another story to tell, but I'm gonna do my eyeliner next, but I'm literally just gonna do like a time lapse of it because I know myself and I'm not gonna be able to tell a story while I'm doing eyeliner because it takes all of my focus. But the eyeliner that I use is Physicians Formula, which is actually just a drugstore brand. A drugstore blend. And I use it in ultra black. I have used the regular black also, but the ultra black shows up a lot better. And it has like almost like a paintbrush tip. I'm not sure how well you can even see that, but it's like a paintbrush tip. So it can actually mess me up if I hold it the wrong way. But overall, this is like a super easy liner that I really like and it shows up really nicely. So I'm going to do my eyeliner and then I will tell the other story while I finish the rest of my face. Eyeliner is now done. That was honestly probably the fastest I've ever done eyeliner. The next thing I'm gonna do is my eyebrows. I fill them in and I'm probably gonna time lapse this also because I know myself and I'm probably gonna like take too many gaps in how I talk just like I would with my eyeliner. So I'm just gonna time lapse this and then I will tell the actual other story. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is just use my Bare Minerals. I use shade Champagne and just put that all over my foundation to help it settle in and stay put. So the next story that I have is about the heat in my apartment. So as a backstory, we got new owners to this building a few months ago, I guess. I think it was probably like September-ish that we got new owners, and they have been literally pinching every penny and charging for everything they possibly could. So they have sent us all these kinds of notifications. They sent a notification saying that we need to take our air conditioners out of the window for the winter by the end of the month. And it was already like the middle of the month, and I think it was November that they sent that. And I emailed them and I said, like, everyone in this apartment has a studio apartment, so I'm not really sure where you think that these air conditioners are supposed to be stored. So anyway, they told us that we had to have that out by the end of the month. Otherwise, they'd be charging us $50 a month for the heat because they pay for our heat, and they're cheap and they don't want to pay for it, basically. And they were saying that they don't want to have to pay more for the heat because the air conditioner's in the window. And while, yes, it is true that an air conditioner being in a window can allow air to come into the building and cool it off. I'm just setting my under eyes now. I'm using the NARS like contour palette, which has like the white powder that I use for my under eyes. So anyway, they said that they were going to charge us a fee. So I told them I didn't have anywhere to store it, and they said basically my options were to have someone who is licensed somehow. I'm not really sure how they wanted them to be licensed, but they wanted them to be licensed in some way. To have someone come and weatherize the air conditioner. Otherwise, I'd have to pay the $50 fine. And I was like, I don't have an extra $50 a month that I want to just throw away to give to you, especially considering the amount of heat that you put into the building has nothing to do with the temperature of my apartment. If my apartment is cold, then my apartment is cold and that's my own fault. That's fine. But you can't sit here and tell me that my air conditioner is going to affect how much you pay, because it's not, because there's no thermostat in my building. They just turn the heat on or they turn the heat off. That's it. There's no other option. There's no thermostat or anything. So that was the start of it. After that, they've sent notifications about people using shopping carts and leaving them, like shopping carts to like carry their groceries, I guess, and leaving them in the alleyway. They said like, if you continue to do this, we'll fine you. They said if you continue to overload the washing machine, then we will take them away. They increased the price of the laundry from already $1.75 a load. Now it's $1.95 a load, and if you increase the settings, it's more expensive per setting. They did all of this. They also have been evicting people left and right, which they probably were getting away with stuff that they shouldn't have been before. I'm just gonna contour now because I got distracted by this story. And I'm using the same NARS contour palette. Now I'm just using the Too Faced Rosy Glow highlighter. So yeah, basically they're trying to increase their income wherever they can, and they don't really care about the people that live here at all. All right, I'm just gonna be doing blush now. I use the NARS Deep Throat brush. This winter, since these people have been here, the heat has hardly been on. It's been like 15 degrees outside and the heat has not been on at all. And it's just like another thing. So even though I don't want it to be hot in here, I was like, I'm gonna send an email and just say like, everyone's been complaining about this. So I sent them an email and I said like, everyone in this building has complained to me that there is not heat in their apartment. So like, can you turn the heat on because it's winter? And I understand you're trying to save money, but it shouldn't be freezing. It doesn't need to be 1,000 degrees, but it shouldn't be freezing. So, oh, hi Milo. He wanted to do his makeup too, I guess. Oh, cute boy. Okay, you could sit there. Anyway, I'm just gonna put mascara on. I use the Tarte Gifted mascara. I have really sensitive eyes, so I'm like really picky about mascaras. Some of them really bother me. But anyway, so I sent them an email and I was like, the heat needs to be on. Like, this is ridiculous. It's winter. Like, nobody wants to be sweating, but nobody wants to be freezing either. So I send this email. No one even responds. And the super shows up today to come into my apartment and check the heaters. So this is while I'm leaving to go pick up my car, which I had left at the mall in case it snowed. Meredith's going to work, and that's why she's driving me right now to go get it. And he's like, I'm coming to check the heater, but he doesn't really speak English. He's not even the real super. He's like the super's assistant, but we don't even know who the real super is. So he comes in and I'm like, okay, whatever. I go to pick up my car. Takes me a little while because my car didn't want to start. And I finally come back. I come into my apartment and I'm not kidding. It was like 85 or 90 degrees in here. It had gone from being like a normal temperature because the heat has been on today. Because it's like 7 degrees outside. So it has been on like a normal amount. So now it's like 85 degrees in here and I was like, this is not what I wanted. So I sent them an email, but they didn't answer. Not that I expected them to. So then I called them, and the woman who I normally email has a phone number with an extension in it on her email. Like as part of her signature. So I call that phone number and I put in the extension and it literally goes goodbye and hangs up as soon as I put in the extension. So I don't know if she got fired and they like disconnected her phone, or if she put like a fake extension because she doesn't want to help people, because I would not be remotely surprised. So anyway, then I call back and there's like an option to just like, from the like recorded menu, it says like for tenant services or whatever, press 2. So I press 2, somebody answers, and she literally answers the phone and she goes, creative group or whatever it's called. She goes, creative group services, how can I help you? And I was like, wow, I'm sorry to make you do your job. So I explained to her, like, I sent an email, the super came, he increased the amount of heat that's coming out of my heaters, and now it's unbearable in here. Told her my address, whatever. And she goes, okay, I'll have someone look into it for you. I'll call him. And I'm like, okay. And I tell her my apartment number because she didn't even ask. She didn't even ask what apartment I was in. I was like, you're 100% not going to have someone look into it for me, but like, thanks. So it legitimately was like 85 degrees in my apartment. And I'm like, you know, I know it's cold outside, but like nobody wants to go and all of a sudden be in Florida either. And that's the thing. Like, I wasn't telling them to increase the heat for my apartment. I was telling them that they should be turning the heat on more frequently for the building, not make it come out more in my apartment. So anyway, I dealt with it for a little while. And then I was so irritated and warm. I had the window open and the fan in the window, just so we all know. I got to the point where I was so irritated and warm that I decided to see if I could turn it off myself. So I shined my flashlight down there, and I could see like which direction it said was on and off. It was like just out of reach, so I got a towel so that I could lean on it and not burn myself. And I was able to turn that one off. And I did the same thing in the bathroom, but I honestly don't know if it did anything. And it now has cooled off a bit, but the heat has been on like nonstop. Oh, now I have Zoe here also. But anyway, so basically my apartment's 1,000 degrees and I'm fed up of living here. This is basically how I do my makeup whenever I do my makeup. Meredith will do my makeup for me, and like she does it completely differently and like really pretty. But I want to tuck my hair behind my ears, but my ears are really red. So Zoe's gonna sit on me because that's what she does. So yeah, the moral of the story is that my apartment's really annoying, and it went from being freezing to now being 1,000 degrees, and I just can't win. So I'm sure this will not be the last one of my annoyances with my apartment, and I'm sure it won't be the last time the fire alarm goes off, but hopefully there's no more smoke. But anyway, this video is probably going to be really long because I did a lot of rambling, and it also normally takes me a while to do my makeup. If you watch this far, please feel free to tell me your crazy apartment stories or about a time that the fire alarm went off or anything like that. Let me know what's up in the comments down below. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and dealing with all of my rambling, because I know I can ramble a lot. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and keep an eye out for all of my future videos complaining about my crazy apartment, because I'm sure there will be more. Anyway, bye.